Before I even remotely dive into this video, let me just get a couple things out the way, because I'm stepping into anime territory and I know how anime fans are. Trust me, I am a huge Naruto fan. So we're just gonna get a couple housekeeping things out the way right now. Number one, I have only watched Dragon Ball up into the end of Dragon Ball Z. I have not seen Super or anything that may be beyond Super. Let me also say I've rewatched Dragon Ball Z abridged way more than I've rewatched Dragon Ball. So I'm just laying all my cards out here right now. I'm just laying it all out. Last thing I'm gonna say is this is a think piece. This is not an anime breakdown. This is not anything of the sort. Yes, I'm overthinking it. Yes, I'm using hyperbole. Yes, I may not get all the facts right, but like I said, it's a think piece. We're just trying to make a point. I'm just trying to get you to think about something in a different way using a medium and a format that you recognize with and relate to. So we're just here to have fun. We're just here to have fun. Dragon Ball Z community. I say all this with love and respect and vigor, but now let's get into the actual video. So I'm on my new drug of choice, Pinterest, and I see a manga panel of Dragon Ball Z starring Gohan, and I decided to go in the comments, and the comments is just nothing but Gohan hate. Gohan fell off. Gohan was the biggest disappointment in Dragon Ball Z, if not all of anime. He went from the hardest man in the hood to this gang life ain't worth it, little bro, which was pretty funny, I'm not gonna hold you. And I felt like this was really unfair in general, and unfair to Gohan in real life and in the story of Dragon Ball. Gohan is a real person, and I'm not saying that everyone else in Dragon Ball is not a real person. He just feels the most like a real person to me. Gohan is a story of trauma. Gohan is a story of being thrusted into an environment that you were not a willing participant in, changing and adjusting to said environment for survival, but still coming out in the end yourself. We all know the story about Goku, his father, the man with an unquenchable thirst for combat and battling to the end and being as strong as you can be and having a willpower like no other. And so Gohan, being his son, was thrown into that life as well. But that wasn't Gohan, that was Goku. That wasn't Gohan's life, that was Goku's life. But he lived that life. He trained, he fought, he got his ass beat. He trained, he fought, he got his ass beat. He had another father. Shout out to Piccolo. He wasn't the stepfather, he was the father that stepped up. And then he hit his peak, or what a lot of people say is his peak, when he fought Perfect Cell, and it was glorious. It was amazing. He went to depths that he never had to go to before. He channeled parts of him that only one in his situation could channel, and it was glorious. It was amazing. It was wonderful, especially to the people watching from the sidelines, i.e. you and I. Then he became a nerd and he forgot how to fight, and he started studying, and he's got this goofy ass fit on, and he's wearing glasses, and he just doesn't look cool anymore. But you know what he does look like? He looks happy. He looks a lot less stressed. He looks free from a life that he never wanted in the first place. And I was sitting and thinking to myself about this, overthinking to myself about this, and I was hit with thoughts of, wow, I feel like that is actually a perfect analogy for the lives that a lot of people should be living and should be striving to live. What would you be doing right now if you didn't have the societal pressures, if you didn't have the parental pressure, if you didn't have all the other pressures that the world is constantly throwing at you? What would you be doing if you weren't thrown into the environment that you were thrown into? If you felt like you didn't have to live up to these expectations of your father, of your battle torn, everyone wants to fight you ass life? Yeah, maybe you'd have the cool car, and you'd have the job with the fancy title, and you'd have the house, but would you still be miserable? Working a job you don't want, to keep paying bills for things that you bought because you thought you needed them, and the only people that really care about these things are other people, because they're all measuring each other against themselves, and it's just one huge measuring contest that nobody actually wants to be in. Would you keep suffering on the inside and forcing yourself to fight battles and fight enemies that you're expected to fight, or that you've been thrown into, or that you're not prepared for? Would you choose something that breathes life into you, that makes you smile when you think about it, that you're at least not resentful of at a minimum? We all have situations and problems that are not our fault. We all have battles and fights that we are unwilling participants in. But at some point, you're going to reach a point where you're aware of that. You're aware of this fact. And then you're going to have to make a choice. Are you going to continue fighting this fight you don't want to fight, that you think you have to fight when in reality you don't? Or are you going to choose yourself? I think Gohan's story truly represents a unique type of strength. A type of strength that doesn't get talked about a lot because of the ridicule and the judgment that you may face for choosing that type of strength. I think Gohan's story is a great story about a very unique type of strength. The strength to choose a path that is unconventional or might lead to ridicule and hate and judgment, but doing it anyway despite all of that, in the face of all of that. And I feel like if more people thought about it in this way, they would respect Gohan a whole lot more. So many people pick the side of convention, of conformity, constantly fighting these battles that they may not know they're fighting in the first place, which, you know, is another thing that they have to figure out for themselves. But even when they realize they're fighting these invisible battles, they decide all too often to stay in these invisible battles and then wonder why they are so miserable. Now, this is the point where I re-acknowledge the fact that, yes, I know I'm overthinking. Gohan is not the main character of the story. The main character of the story is Goku, and Goku's story is just as respectable and just as cool and just as about strength. Just an unshakable strength, unshakable determination, always diving into that other gear and finding the will and finding the way and finding the strength to overcome any battle. All I'm saying is, why can't we think about Gohan in the same way? His next gear wasn't a new form, but his next gear was a new life, and his next gear was himself. And this is not about Goku hate. This is not about Goku slander. All I'm saying is, the respect you reserve for Goku should in fact be reserved just as much for Gohan. Strength can look many different ways. Strength can take many different forms. Both of these characters are very strong. It's just a different strength, and you shouldn't put one over the other just because one isn't what you think strength is. And I also invite you to look at this new type of strength and wonder, is this a type of strength that I could and should be applying to my own life? You're fighting Perfect Cell every day and you don't have to. Maybe you already beat Perfect Cell. Maybe you already did that difficult part. But now do the next difficult part. You beat Perfect Cell. Now get out the game. Do what you want to do. Do what's actually right for you. I'm only prefacing so much because I am an anime fan and I'm on anime YouTube all the time. And I know how it gets. Like I said, I'm a Naruto fan. We are some of the most toxic and annoying fans out there. Like, niggas still hate Sakura for some reason. Like, grow the fuck up. We get it. You got your heart broken by a girl when you were like 12. Get over it. Grow up and get over it. I hope y'all liked this video. Let me know if you liked the anime references. I'm a huge anime fan, so you know that can be a thing if y'all like it. If you feel so inclined, I do invite you to like and subscribe. But either way, I do hope you stay, and I will catch you on the next one. Check out some of my other videos. They're not all about anime though.